The exclusive restaurant Meridian fell silent as Nathan Pierce's voice cut through the room. "You're fired, and you'll never work in this city again." Every staff member had learned to endure Nathan's cruelty in silence. When the tech mogul snapped his fingers, you came running. When he humiliated you, you smiled and said, "Right away, sir." Every staff member except Lily Carter. She stood in the center of the dining room, spine straight, and did the one thing no one at Meridian had ever dared to do. She looked Nathan Pierce directly in the eye and said, "No." "I served the wine correctly," Lily said, her voice steady. "If it's not to your taste, that's your preference. But it's not my mistake." Nathan's face flushed red. "Do you have any idea who I am?" Before Lily could respond, a voice came from across the room. James Whitmore, the quiet businessman who'd been watching her for weeks, stood up. "She's right, Pierce. The wine is perfect. But then again, you've never had particularly refined taste." Meridian wasn't just a restaurant. It was a temple of wealth, where sunlight streamed through floor-to-ceiling windows, overlooking the city, casting golden light on crystal glasses and pristine white tablecloths. The air smelled of expensive perfume and truffle oil. To work here meant becoming invisible, perfect, silent, obedient. Lily Carter had been invisible her whole life, and she was tired of it. She stood in the cramped staff locker room, staring at her phone. A text from her younger sister, Emma, glowed on the screen. "Doctor says Dad needs the surgery within 2 months. $50,000. I know you're trying." Lily closed her eyes. 2 semesters away from finishing her MBA at Stanford, she dropped out when her father's heart condition worsened. The medical debt had swallowed their family whole. Her mother worked double shifts as a nurse. Emma had deferred college. And Lily? Lily had traded her corporate strategy textbooks for a server's apron. But she hadn't traded her dignity. "Hayes?" Paul Chen, the head manager, appeared in the doorway. "Table 7 just sat. Nathan Pierce. Do exactly what he says, no matter what. Understood?" Lily had heard the whispers about Table 7. Nathan Pierce, tech mogul, venture capitalist, and, according to every server at Meridian, the most cruel man in the city. He'd made 3 servers quit in the past month alone. "Understood," Lily said, tying her apron. What she didn't know was that Table 12 had also just been occupied. James Whitmore had walked in, ordered his usual black coffee, and opened his laptop. And for the first time in months, he wasn't thinking about work. He was thinking about the new server with the intelligent eyes who'd corrected his market analysis on a napkin 2 days ago. Nathan Pierce didn't look up when Lily approached. He was scrolling through his phone, his $5,000 suit jacket draped carelessly over the chair beside him. He was handsome in that sharp, cold way, dark hair, angular features, the kind of face that looked good in magazine profiles about ruthless CEOs. "Water," he said, without looking at her. Not a request, a command. "Right away, sir." Lily placed the menu in front of him. He pushed it away. "I don't need a menu. I've been coming here for 3 years. Bring me the 2015 Chateau Margaux, 55 degrees. Not 54, not 56. Do you understand numbers?" Lily felt her jaw tighten. "Yes, sir. 55 degrees. And tell Chef Laurent I want the duck, but I want it prepared the way he made it in 2022, not whatever mediocre version he's been serving lately. If he's forgotten, that's his problem." Lily nodded and turned to leave. That's when Nathan snapped his fingers, once, twice, like summoning a dog. The sound cracked through the dining room. Every staff member froze. Paul Chen looked like he might have a heart attack. Lily stopped. She didn't turn around immediately. She took a breath, counted to 3, and then slowly faced him. "Yes, Mr. Pierce?" Nathan said, "I didn't dismiss you." "I didn't dismiss you yet," Nathan said, finally looking up. His eyes were cold, calculating. "Stand there. I might need something else." Lily stood there for 3 full minutes while Nathan scrolled through his emails. She could feel the eyes of every diner, every server, every busser on her. This was the test. This is how Nathan Pierce broke people. But Lily had stood in courtrooms during her paralegal days. She'd faced down landlords trying to evict her family. She'd held her father's hand in the ICU when the doctor said they weren't sure he'd make it. A rich man's power play? That didn't scare her. From table 12, James Whitmore watched the entire exchange. He'd seen Nathan do this before, humiliate staff for sport. But this woman didn't flinch. She didn't look away. She just stood there, calm and dignified, waiting. James found himself smiling. He picked up his pen and wrote on his napkin, "Impressive composure under pressure. Ever consider corporate negotiation?" When Lily finally delivered Nathan's wine 10 minutes later, she walked past James's table. She saw the napkin, and despite everything, she felt the corner of her mouth lift. The wine was perfect, 55 degrees exactly. Lily had checked it 3 times. Nathan took 1 sip and set the glass down with a sharp click. "This is 57 degrees. Lily's heart sunk. "Sir, I verified. Are you arguing with me?" Nathan's voice rose just enough to carry. Other diners turned to look. "Do you think you know wine better than I do?" "No, sir, you're simply incompetent." Nathan pushed the glass toward her. "Bring me another bottle, and this time try to follow basic instructions." Lily felt her face flush, not with embarrassment, with anger. She picked up the glass, and as she did, she noticed something. The glass was warm on one side, where Nathan's hand had been wrapped around it for the past 5 minutes. He'd warmed it on purpose. "Right away, sir," Lily said through gritted teeth. As she turned to leave, Nathan added loudly, "And someone should really raise the hiring standards here. This is Meridian, not a fast food chain." The humiliation was deliberate, public, and cruel. Paul Chen rushed over, apologizing profusely. The other servers looked at Lily with a mixture of pity and relief that it wasn't them. But as Lily walked toward the wine cellar, she passed table 12. James Whitmore stood up. "Excuse me, miss?" Lily stopped, trying to compose herself. "Yes, sir?" "That wine was perfect," James said quietly, his voice warm. "I've been drinking that vintage for years." He warmed the glass in his hand. "You did nothing wrong." Lily looked at him, really looked at him for the first time. James Whitmore was probably in his early 40s, with kind eyes, sandy brown hair, and an easy confidence that didn't need to announce itself. He wore an expensive suit, but he wore it like it was comfortable, not like armor. "Thank you," Lily said softly. "But unfortunately, the customer is always right." "The customer," James said with a slight smile, "is often wrong, but people with integrity are always worth defending." Their eyes held for a moment. Lily felt something shift in her chest, a warmth she hadn't felt in months. "I should get back to work," she said. "Of course. But," James pulled out a business card and handed it to her. "If you ever get tired of serving wine to people who don't appreciate it, call me. I'm looking for someone brilliant to join my consulting firm, and based on your market analysis response yesterday, you're exactly who I've been looking for." Lily stared at the card. James Whitmore, CEO, Whitmore Strategy Group. Before she could respond, Nathan's voice cut through the moment. "Girl, where's my wine?" James's jaw tightened. Lily saw a flash of anger cross his face. "Go," he said gently, "but keep the card. Do you see someone being treated with cruelty and stay silent? Or do you stand up for what's right? Let us know in the comments." The second bottle of wine was also perfect, and Nathan also sent it back. By the third attempt, Lily knew what was happening. This wasn't about wine. This was about power. Nathan Pierce wanted to break her the way he'd broken every other server who dared to show a spine. "This is unacceptable," Nathan announced, loud enough for the entire restaurant to hear. "3 bottles, 3 failures. Paul, I want her fired, now." Paul Chen appeared, his face pale. "Mr. Pierce, I apologize profusely." "I don't want apologies, I want results. Fire her, or I'll make sure every food critic in this city knows that Meridian has fallen apart." Lily stood there, the third bottle still in her hand, and felt something inside her snap. Not break, snap into place. She set the bottle down carefully on the table. She looked Nathan Pierce directly in the eye, and she said the word that changed everything. "No." The restaurant went silent. Someone dropped a fork. It clattered against a plate like a gunshot. "What did you just say?" Nathan's voice was dangerous, quiet. "I said no," Lily repeated, her voice steady. "I served you 3 perfect bottles of wine at exactly 55 degrees. You warmed each glass with your hand before complaining. This isn't about the wine. This is about humiliating me, and I won't be humiliated." Nathan stood up, his chair scraping loudly against the floor. "You're fired." "Then I'm fired," Lily said, untying her apron. Her hands were shaking, but her voice was clear. "But I'm not going to stand here and let you treat me like I'm less than human because you have money. Money doesn't give you the right to be cruel." Paul Chen looked like he was going to faint. The other diners were openly staring now. And then James Whitmore stood up. He walked across the restaurant, every eye following him. He stopped beside Lily, his presence solid and reassuring. "She's right, Pierce," James said calmly. "The wine was perfect. I watched you warm the glass each time. This isn't about service. This is about you being a bully." Nathan's face flushed red. "Stay out of this, Whitmore. This doesn't concern you." "It concerns me when I see someone with integrity being torn down by someone with none." James turned to Lily. "The job offer stands. If you want it, it's yours. Starting salary is 3 times what you're making here, plus benefits and a signing bonus to cover any immediate expenses." Lily's breath caught. 3 times her salary? That would cover her father's surgery. That would change everything. "You can't poach my staff," Nathan sputtered. "She's not your staff," he said mildly. "You just fired her. Or did you forget already?" Lily didn't take off her apron that night. James's offer hung in the air like a lifeline, but Paul Chen pulled her aside before Nathan could escalate further. "Please," Paul begged quietly. "Don't quit. Mr. Pierce has left. Just finish your shift. We'll talk about this tomorrow." Lily wanted to walk out. She wanted to take James's card and never look back. But she thought of Emma's text, of her father in his hospital bed, of her mother's exhausted face. She needed this job until she had something solid to replace it. "Fine," she said, "but I'm not serving table 7 ever again." She finished her shift in a daze. When she finally clocked out at midnight, she found James Whitmore waiting in the lobby. "I thought you'd left," Lily said, surprise evident in her voice. "I wanted to make sure you were all right," James said. He'd loosened his tie, and he looked tired but genuine. "That took courage, what you did in there." "That took stupidity," Lily corrected, pulling on her coat. "I almost lost my job." "You stood up for yourself. That's not stupid. That's rare." James paused. "The offer was real, by the way. I wasn't just trying to make a point." Lily looked at him. In the soft lobby lighting, he looked different than the polished businessman from Table 12. He looked kind, real. "Why?" she asked. "You don't know anything about me." "I know you're working here while finishing an MBA. I saw your Stanford textbook in your bag last week when you dropped it. I know you're brilliant at market analysis based on the notes you left me. And I know you have more integrity in your little finger than most executives have in their entire body." James smiled. "That's enough for me." Lily felt tears prick her eyes. She blinked them back. "My father needs surgery, $50,000. I dropped out of school to work. I'm not who you think I am." "You're exactly who I think you are," James said softly. "Someone who sacrificed her dreams for her family. Someone who works 3 jobs and still finds time to write brilliant analysis on napkins. Someone who refuses to be broken by men like Nathan Pierce." He handed her his card again. "Think about it. No pressure, but the offer stands." As Lily walked to the subway, she clutched the card in her hand. And for the first time in months, she felt something she'd almost forgotten: hope. The next morning, Lily called the number on James's card. They met at a coffee shop, neutral territory. James bought her a latte and a croissant, and they talked for 2 hours. He explained his company. Whitmore's strategy group helped mid-sized companies navigate mergers, acquisitions, and market positioning. He needed someone with fresh eyes, someone hungry, someone smart. "I can't promise it'll be easy," James said, leaning forward. "The hours can be brutal, especially during active deals. But you'll learn more in 6 months than you did in 2 years of business school." And he paused, his expression softening. "You'll be treated with respect, always." Lily studied him. She'd learned to read people during her paralegal days. And James Whitmore was an open book. He was genuine, kind. And the way he looked at her, not at her uniform or her circumstances, but at her, made her feel seen in a way she hadn't felt in years. "When can I start?" she asked. James grinned. "Monday?" That weekend, Lily put in her notice at Meridian. Paul Chen tried to convince her to stay, offering a small raise, better shifts, but Lily was done being invisible. Her first day at Whitmore Strategy Group was terrifying. The office was sleek, modern, filled with people in sharp suits discussing million-dollar deals. Lily felt like an imposter in her discount department store blazer, but James met her at reception personally, gave her a tour, introduced her to the team, and when they reached her office, with a window and a desk and her name on the door, Lily had to excuse herself to the bathroom to cry. "You all right?" James asked when she returned, his eyes concerned. "I'm perfect," Lily said, smiling through tears. "Thank you for seeing me." "I'm not the one who did anything remarkable," James said gently. "You did that all on your own." The first month at Whitmore Strategy was a whirlwind. Lily worked 80-hour weeks,
Absorbing everything like a sponge, she analyzed market trends, built financial models, sat in on client meetings, and James was there every step of the way, not hovering, but guiding, teaching. They started having lunch together, just the two of them, in his office or at the cafe downstairs. At first, they talked about work, but slowly, the conversations deepened. "Why did you start your own firm?" Lily asked one afternoon over Thai food. James was quiet for a moment. "I worked for a larger consulting group for years, made partner, had everything I thought I wanted. But I watched them tear apart a family business for profit. Good people who just needed guidance, not destruction. When I objected, I was told to stay in my lane. So I left. Started my own firm where I could do things differently, where people mattered more than profit margins." Lily felt her chest tighten. That must have been terrifying. "It was," James admitted. "But it was also the best decision I ever made. Sometimes you have to walk away from security to find something real." Their eyes held. Lily felt her pulse quicken. There was something in the air between them, something unspoken but undeniable. "Lily," James said softly, "I need to tell you something." Before he could continue, his phone rang. A major client crisis situation. The moment passed. But that night, as Lily lay in bed, she replayed the way James had said her name, the way he looked at her like she was the only person in the room. She was falling for him, and that terrified her more than anything Nathan Pierce had ever done. 6 weeks into her new job, Lily's father's surgery was had. It was successful. The relief was overwhelming. James gave her the week off without question, and when she returned, she found flowers on her desk. Simple white roses with a card that read, "So glad he's okay. J." Not Mr. Whitmore, just J. Lily stared at the flowers for a long moment before walking to James's office. He was on a call, but he saw her through the glass and smiled, gesturing for her to come in. "I have to call you back," he said into the phone, hanging up quickly. "How's your father?" "Good, really good." Lily held up the card. "Thank you for these. You didn't have to." "I wanted to." James stood, walking around his desk. He stopped just in front of her, close enough that she could smell his cologne, something woody and warm. "Lily, I've been trying to find the right time to say this, but there never seems to be a right time, so I'm just going to say it." Lily's heart hammered. "Okay, I know there's a power dynamic here. You work for me, and I would never want you to feel pressured or uncomfortable, but I can't stop thinking about you. Not as an employee, as a person, as someone I want to know everything about, someone who makes me laugh and challenges me and makes me want to be better." Lily's breath caught. "James, if this is completely one-sided, tell me now, and we'll never speak of it again. But if there's even a chance you feel the same way..." Lily kissed him. It wasn't planned, it wasn't professional, but it was real. And when James wrapped his arms around her, pulling her close, Lily felt like she'd finally come home. When they finally broke apart, both breathless, James rested his forehead against hers. He murmured, "I've wanted to do that since the moment you stood up to Pierce." Lily laughed. "Really? That's when you fell for me? What I almost got fired?" That's when I knew you were extraordinary. James pulled back just enough to look at her. I'm falling in love with you, Lily Carter. And I don't care about power dynamics or office politics. I just care about you. I'm falling for you too, I see. I have been for weeks. They stood there, wrapped in each other's arms, the rest of the world falling away. For 3 months, everything was perfect. Lily and James kept their relationship quiet at first, but eventually the office figured it out, and no one cared. They were happy. Lily was thriving, her father was recovering, Emma had re-enrolled in college. Life was finally impossibly good. And then Nathan Pierce found out. Lily was at a networking event when she saw him across the room. He was talking to a group of investors, laughing at something someone said. When his eyes landed on her, his smile turned cold. He excused himself and walked over. Well, well, Nathan said, his voice dripping with false warmth. The little waitress. I heard you upgraded. Found yourself a sugar daddy? Lily's stomach dropped. Excuse me? James Whitmore? Everyone's talking about it. How the poor scholarship girl seduced the lonely CEO. It's very strategic. Lily felt her face flush. That's not what happened. Isn't it? Nathan leaned in, his voice lowering. You played the damsel in distress. He played the white knight. And now you're reaping the benefits. I have to admit, it's a smart con. It's not a con. I love him. Nathan laughed. Love? You barely know him. Give it 6 months. He'll get bored, you'll get fired, and you'll be right back where you started. Serving wine to your betters. Lily wanted to slap him, but before she could respond, James appeared at her side. Pierce, he said coldly, leave. I was just congratulating your girlfriend on her career advancement, Nathan said with a smirk. You were being cruel, which is the only thing you know how to be. And for the record, Lily earned her position through brilliance and hard work, something you wouldn't understand. Nathan's smirk faded. Careful, Whitmore. I have friends on your client list. One word from me. Go ahead, James said calmly. I built my business on integrity, and if your friends value your opinion over my track record, they're not clients I want anyway. Nathan stared at them for a long moment before turning and walking away. Lily was shaking. He's going to ruin you. He's going to try, James said gently, turning her to face him. But he won't succeed because what we have is real, Lily, and no amount of his bitterness can change that. But over the next 2 weeks, Nathan made good on his threat. 3 of James's clients mysteriously pulled their contracts. Rumors started circulating about improper relationships and conflicts of interest. The gossip blogs picked up the story. CEO dates former waitress. Is it love or leverage? Lily watched James's company take hit after hit, and she knew it was her fault. I should leave, she told him one night in his office. If I'm gone, the rumors stop. Your clients come back. No, James said firmly. Absolutely not. James, I can't watch you lose everything because of me. Lily, he took her hands. I'm not the reason I'm losing clients. Nathan Pierce's vindictiveness is. And if clients are willing to believe his lies, they were never the right clients anyway. But I would rather lose every client I have than lose you, James said fiercely. You are worth more than any contract, any deal, any amount of money.
Do you understand me?" Lily's eyes filled with tears. "I love you. I love you too. And we're going to get through this together."
The turning point came from an unexpected source. 2 weeks after Nathan's smear campaign began, an article was published in a major business journal. The headline read, "The Truth About Nathan Pierce. Former Employees Speak Out." 23 people, former employees, business partners, even clients, had come forward with stories of Nathan's cruelty, manipulation, and unethical practices. The article was damning, detailed, and impossible to ignore. Within days, Nathan's investors launched an investigation. His board called for his resignation, and the clients who left James's firm quietly returned, apologizing for their hasty decisions. Lily found out later that Nathan had nothing to do with the article. It had been organized by one of Nathan's former assistants, a woman who'd quit after he'd publicly humiliated her one too many times. She'd spent months gathering testimonies, building a case, waiting for the right moment. "Karma," James said when he told Lily. "Sometimes the universe balances itself." 6 months later, Lily graduated with her MBA. James had insisted on paying her tuition so she could finish. She completed it part-time while continuing to work at the firm. And on graduation day, James was in the front row cheering louder than anyone. That night, he took her to Meridian. "Why here?" Lily asked as they walked through the familiar doors. "Because this is where I first saw you," James said, leading her to table 12, his old table. "This is where I first realized that I'd been searching for someone exactly like you my entire life." They sat down. A new server approached, nervous, young, eager to please. "We'll take our time with the menu," James said kindly. "No rush." The server relaxed, smiled, and walked away. James reached across the table and took Lily's hand. "Lily Carter, I fell in love with you the moment you refused to let anyone diminish your worth. You are brilliant, strong, compassionate, and real. You make me want to be better every single day. And I don't want to spend another moment of my life without you in it." He pulled out a small velvet box. Lily's breath caught. "Will you marry me?" James asked, his eyes shining. Lily didn't hesitate. "Yes, 1,000 times yes." As James slipped the ring onto her finger, Lily looked around the restaurant. She thought about the girl who'd stood in this dining room 6 months ago, terrified and desperate. She thought about the moment she decided her dignity was worth more than a paycheck. And she thought about the man who'd seen her, really seen her, when everyone else looked through her. "I love you," she whispered. "I love you too," James said, pulling her into a kiss. "Always." Real love isn't about grand gestures or fairy tale moments. It's about finding someone who sees your worth when the world tells you you're invisible. It's about mutual respect, partnership, and choosing each other every single day. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to remember their worth. And drop a comment telling us what's the moment you realized someone truly saw you.